My word, look at this big old huge garage. You could have a party in here. 3-car garage, and then a full 4th-car garage where there's going to be a that one's designed to be for a big motorhome. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. Well, I never would have believed it until I saw it. Look how tall this garage door is going to be. And that's because if you were with me a long time ago, I said I had talked to the general contractor and he said there's going to be a 4-car garage here, and you can see there's 1, 2, 3 potato 4. And this one, he said, was going to be taller for a motorhome, and that's going to fit in there. And that's going to, I'm still not quite sure how the roof line is going to go just yet. We'll just have to keep watching, huh? And see, they've got the other walls in here ready, all framed and ready to install over here. Let's take a look at some of these straps. I guess they haven't installed any straps yet. See, here's the bottom plate. Here's these. My word, look how big these bolts are. Those go all the way down through the stem wall down into the footing, and that's going to help tie everything down. You see, if you didn't have those, this thing in high winds could just blow off or tilt and go this way or the other way, and it's just going to help hold it all down. You remember the straps that he had? Here was one strap where they had it folded down. Well, they're gonna end up pushing that up there. They might even put another 2x6 along there. Nail that. Look at all the holes, and you've got to use every single one of them. That's generally what the inspector wants to see. And if you have questions about that, you can nail it how you feel, and then when the inspector comes out, he'll tell you whether or not he's going to approve it or not. And this is looking really good. Look at this big old beam here, mind you. Now, this beam here, I'm not quite sure that it's actually here to hold the roof line. And you can see this whole thing is all connected, interconnected. The 3-car garage as well as a 4th here. And you see how the walls on this side are lower than this over here, and no builder is going to guess on that. They've got to let the guy who drew the plans, who engineered it, who designed it, decide what they're going to do. And see how they had to brace these walls here? Look, these long 2x4s, and then they've got this kind of like an A-frame, and they've got it tied in there, and they've just got it kind of held here. And see, this here is not supported yet or anything, but it's kind of holding with all of that area over there, kind of as a fulcrum point to keep this wall straight. And they'll redo it again. See how they've got this, even though it's not there. They could have shot something down to the floor, but they didn't want to do that because then they damage the floor. So they're using this, and this goes all the way back over to there, and that's bracing that. And that's somehow that works. And my word, look how big this beam is. This is called a glue lamb beam because it's all kinds of 2x6s glued together. I'll show you. Look at right here. See this? This is the 2x6 right here. And my word, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Look at that. And it's up there, and they'll have to put some sort of gusset beam post. I'm kind of surprised there's not a beam post up there, that a saddle that was attached to the 6x6 post first, and then have it go up kind of like a U-shaped deal, and then have it bolted. But you know, they must have put it up there the way it says on the plans, and then they'll have a some sort of brackets on the outside. We'll have to see that some other time. and see how they're going to do that, because you can't just leave something like that without the without some joist gusset straps. Okay, so there's nothing there yet, and we'll just have to check on it another time. Okay, so they've been busy. They did all this in one day, because actually 2 days. I wasn't here last night. I didn't come here yesterday afternoon. I didn't think they would get far enough along, but this is looking really so far so good. See, here's a strap here. Obviously they've got to put another 1 or 2 2x6s here before they can nail this up there. See how big these things are, and they'll get it. We'll see the end product when it gets all done. And sometimes you have to be kind of creative with your bracing. See how they ran this brace here from here all the way over, and they put this block here to keep this from sliding. Then they kind of toenailed that in. I mean, they'll end up doing something. Mark my words, they'll do something else before it's all said and done, because they've got to have these walls all nice and pristine straight, because this area here looks like there's going to be trusses going all the way across here. And when they build those trusses, they build them exactly how your plans are shown, and you're not going to modify trusses when they come out to the job site. So you got to have everything nice and straight, and we'll check that out another time. See, they've got braces here, and probably when they get all of these other walls installed and lifted up there. See, this one here, it must be temporary, because they can't even tilt this wall up until they move this. But they're probably doing that just for the end of the day, so they were assured that it wasn't going to wobble and fall down. And trust me, once they get all of this built and everything, then they'll go back with a fine-tooth comb. They'll get all the straps done, everything nailed off, everything that they want, and then they'll go around and they'll make sure all of the outside walls are perfectly plumb, perfectly straight, no wobbly lines on it, like that whole long wall. You don't want it to be wiggly at all at any one point. And so they'll double check all their stuff, okay, before it's all said and done, as well as all of these interior walls. They'll do the same thing with that, because just because you've got, see this wall here that goes all the way across, well, it's supported by the wall at this point going that way, by this wall going that way, by that wall going that way, by that wall going that way, okay? But they still have to rack everything. They got to check, make sure that's plumb. That wall there has to be plumb. So they'll run a level on the other side of that. They'll run a level over here to make sure that's down. And they might have to tweak things. This might have a little bow in it slightly, and maybe when you put a level on here, everything's got to be nice and straight. And they'll do that at both ends. Then they'll run a string across here, run the string maybe 3/4 of an inch away from there, put a 1x4 up next to the string. You can't just run a string right next to this line, because if you've got a bow in the wall, your string, your eye is going to think that the string is straight. Well, the string could be bowed too, because it's running right along the top plate. Do you see what I mean? So that's why you've got to do it slightly different. And so I think, man, that's quite a bit of work. 2 days. Probably they probably got that up with that gel, with that the lift over there, the little forklift, maybe, or they might have gotten the excavator. They have the excavator, and they might have lifted it up there with a chain and stuff. Here's their excavator, okay, right over there. They might have used that, and somehow they got it up there. You're not going to manhandle something like that. I don't care how many people you got here. That would be very dangerous. And stuff, and I'm very surprised that that's the only braces they have on this. They could have put a 2x6 from the 6x6 beam or post and ran it up on the glulam beam on both sides, maybe tacked it, just to help hold it, because the only thing that's the things that's holding that is your king stud. Here's your king stud, this piece here. And that goes all the way up. It's also nailed on there. That's actually being held it's really not going to go anywhere. I wouldn't want to stand under it if there's high winds or something like that. See this long 2x6? They could have raised that up and nailed it again, and then they had the end of the 2x6 and they could have tacked it into there, but they figured they got enough strapping on there from there, and then this diagonal here and over there. They're probably okay for tonight, but they'll do something more than that later on down the road. Okay, so that's it's starting to get exciting over here, and I hope you're learning some really cool things. Okay, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos. It's starting to look like a house.